Shalom. My first experience with anti-Semitism occurred when I was a little boy growing up in a small American town. We were the only Jewish family in the neighborhood, and coming home from school every day, I was often set upon by anti-Semitic bullies who would accuse me of killing Christ. And every time I'd come home all beaten up and bloody, my father would show me a photo album that he and his brother had made during the war in Europe. Both of them had landed in Normandy, fought across France and Germany, and my uncle in particular had liberated a concentration camp, and he had taken photographs of the horrors that he had witnessed there. Mounds of bodies, Nazis laughing and Nazi saluting around dead Jews. And every time my father would open this album and he would point to these pictures and he'd say, "You see that? You see that, son? That is why we need a strong state of Israel." Now, over the years, I encountered many different types of anti-Semitism. Throughout my college years, I worked as a construction worker, and I would often hear how Jews were cheap and Jews stole money. At college, I learned how Jews had taken the positions of worthier individual students at those universities. And then later on, moving to Israel, serving in wars, I encountered Arab propaganda that was taken directly out of Der Stürmer, out of Nazi propaganda, posters of Hitler, multiple volumes of Mein Kampf and the Protocols of Elders of Zion in Arabic that were distributed throughout the Arab world and actually used in schools throughout the Middle East. Later still, the Iranian regime, which held a contest every year for the best cartoons denying the Holocaust. Anti-Semitism took many forms, I learned. But there is one form which has come to dominate all others, and that is anti-Semitism in the form of anti-Zionism. The effort to single out Israel, to boycott and sanction us in the world, to turn Israel into the Jew among nations that is put into a ghetto, that is isolated, that is defiled and demonized and vilified. That is what BDS is about. That is what so many other organizations that seek to delegitimize the state of Israel by one form or another is about. And so to fight that anti-Semitism, we must stick together. We must reveal the truth at all times. You know, when my father would finish closing that album as a kid, he taught me how to box. He had been a boxer as a kid, and he taught me how to use my fists, and I used them pretty well. We learned that in any form of anti-Semitism, for defending ourselves, we have to use the tools and the know-how of the moment. And today, it is in the form of operating in the media, operating in diplomatic forums, operating in Congress, and among other influential bodies in the United States and abroad. And also, we don't fight alone. We fight with our friends, above all our friends in CUFI. CUFI, an organization that has always stood by the state of Israel, always fought against anti-Semitism, always. You know, like you, we have been in isolation here in Israel for many, many weeks. But we know, even if we're isolated, we're never alone. You are always with us, you're always sticking by us, and you are always defending us. And so for all Israelis, and from the Jewish people worldwide, we say thank you to the Christians United for Israel for always being there, for standing up, for fighting against anti-Semitism in whatever form it takes, but in particular in the form of hatred and vilifying the state of Israel. So for all Israelis and the Jewish people worldwide, I say Todah. Thank you very much.